very warm welcome to all our lovely dignitaries joined us here today this evening. All right, let me begin by saying good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We are here for the celebration. Can I please have a nice good evening from all of you? Once again, good evening, everyone. All right, that's fantastic. All right, rooted in our tradition in India, usually when we meet each other, we join our hands in Anjali Mudra, bow down, and say Namaste. So here, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly how I'm going to begin this evening, by joining my hands, bowing down, and saying Namaste to all of you. A very, very warm welcome to this beautiful evening, ladies and gentlemen, at iconic BSE for the celebration of 40 years. Thank you so much. But even before I say anything like a good host should, let me first of all thank each one of you for pulling out your valuable time and making it to this lovely evening. आप सभी अपना कीमती वक्त निकाल यहाँ पर आए, उसके लिए तहे दिल से शुक्रिया. And a special mention, many of you have joined us here today across the countries, and I would like to give a special thank to them, and because not all of them are going to be felicitated today on this platform, but your presence here is valued. Thank you so much for joining us here today in this celebration. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me also mention this to you. We all know that today's celebration is just not about numbers and milestone. It's about honoring the past, acknowledging the present, and looking forward for the future with a lot of opportunities and innovation for India's growth. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, I would request all of you to please pay the tribute and respect to our country and rise for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on, but because we are so rooted in our Indian culture, as we all know, we don't begin anything new without taking the blessings of Almighty. तो भारतीय परंपरा का मान रखते हुए हम आज के शाम की शुरुआत करेंगे दिए को प्रज्वलित कर. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite the dignitaries on stage here to light the lamp, and I would request all of you to please give a big round of applause while I call upon Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey, SEBI Chairman. Can we please have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. C.S. Sethi, SBI Chairman. Mr. Rajiv Bansal, Board Member BSC. Mr. Amarjeet Singh, whole-time member SEBI. Mr. Kamlesh Varshney, whole-time member SEBI. Mr. Sundararaman Ramamurthy ji, MD and CEO BSA Limited. And lastly, Mr. Ashutosh Singh, MD, CEO BSC Indices. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a warm round of applause to welcome our lovely dignitaries here.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशः
Thank you, our wonderful dignitaries. And ladies and gentlemen, here we officially begin the celebration of 40 years of Sensex. Can we please have once again a warm round of applause for this lovely, lovely evening. So it's time to preempt the next session, ladies and gentlemen, and it's my absolute honor to call upon our Honorable SEBI Chairman, Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey, and our MD and CEO BSE, Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji, to please come on stage and take your seat on dais. Can we please have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our wonderful guests walking up on stage. I think we can keep having a nice round of applause unless we have our guests walking on stage. Thank you. A very warm welcome, sir. A very warm welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, now I would request our Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji to please present the bouquet to our Honorable SEBI Chairman, Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey ji, as a token of a welcome. Here we capture this beautiful moment. I would request you to please take your seats, sir. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute privilege to invite on stage a very distinguished leader with extensive experience in the financial and capital market ecosystem. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, while I call upon the MD CEO of BSE, Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji, to deliver the welcome address.
Respected Chief Guest, SEBI Chair, Shri Pandey ji, Chairman of State Bank of India, Shri Sethi ji, whole-time members of SEBI, Singh Saab and Varshini ji, board members of BSE being represented by Rajiv Bansal ji, and board members of ICCL, Shri Kuntia ji, Arun Mehta ji, and Sanjay Narkar ji, visionary leaders of the Sensex components and constituent companies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Pranam, Namaskar, Naya Saal Mubarak. Some people are lucky, and I am one of them. In my tenure, I am having the benefit of celebrating 150 years of BSE and 40 glorious years of Sensex. इसको कहते हैं नसीब वाला हूँ. That's why I am able to stand in front of this august gathering and able to deliver the welcome address in front of so many distinguished people from various parts of this industry, media, mutual funds, merchant bankers, custodians, the largest bank of this country, my privilege. Gone are those days when we talk of index, it was some number discussed somewhere in educated circles. It has become a Garelu cheese now. Every common man talks of index, and when he talks, invariably he refers to Sensex, Paramparanusar, Paramparanugat. Is it a mathematical number? Or is it some mathematical jugglery? If a common man talks, it cannot be that. It's a simplified, standardized scorecard of the country. If Sensex has been resilient, the credit goes to whom? Somebody asked me today. Credit goes to Bharat. Its resilience, its innovation, and growth of corporate India which is what it is reflecting. It's not that we were pioneers in index making. By the end of 19th century, the world has seen the emergence of an index called Dow Jones Industrial Average. It started with 11 stocks, 12 stock. It was a price-weighted index, became 30. Subsequently, in 1950s, S&P 500 came and also Nikkei came. And subsequently, FTSE came, much later in 1984. With the emergence of technology, we started calculating it real time and started disseminating it real time. Indian journey in index was with Sensex. It's a matter of pride and privilege for us here. With the base year as 1979, it started in 1986, so the number was 527 already. When we talk of index, it's a portfolio, to look at it in one fashion. Therefore, it should have correlation with any randomly selected portfolio. It has. It should have minimum amount of diversifiable risk. It has. It should be representative. Is it? Yes. Though 30 stocks, it represents around 40% of the market capitalization. Out of the 12 sectors of economy, it represents 11 sectors. It clearly, therefore, represents the economy, the market, the capital markets, well-being. From a number of 527.4 on the day when it started, today it's hovering somewhere closer to 86,000. In 40 years, it has grown 163 times. People who know better mathematics than me tell me that it is some 13.4% CAGR it has grown. Is it the way in which every other index also has grown? No. Not in their own currency terms if you look at it. DJIA has given 9% during this period as CAGR. FTSE has given again 9%. Hang Seng has given 7%. This index has performed better than gold and silver. If in 1986 somebody had put 100 rupees, Sensex would be today 16,252 rupees. Silver would have been 9336, gold 7469. Either I am alternating the number or something like that. Not anywhere closer to Sensex. Is it that the journey was very simple? Was it a cakewalk? Not at all. Multiple crises, multiple reforms, multiple, what should I say, meltdowns, as they used to call it in those days. It has seen. But clearly, one thing it has underlined, the resilience of our country. Be it a bomb blast, be it COVID, be it anything, it has stood up, stood firm, and went ahead. In 1990, it was hovering around 1,000. In 2014, when the Honorable Prime Minister of our country became the Prime Minister for the first time, it went and touched 25,000. In 2021, this country handled COVID wonderfully well, much to the surprise of many people, in a very coordinated way. It started reflecting in the index, touched 50,000. Today, a common man, whether he understands GDP or not, per capita or not, talks in those terms. He says India is becoming Viksit Bharat. The GDP is very high. What is GDP if you ask him? He doesn't know. According to him, is well-being of the country. And he feels that he has to contribute in some way to that well-being. That reflected in the number. In 24,000, we crossed 75,000. 2025 had its own challenges. Lot of global turmoils in the form of war, trade-related issues. The government stood steadfast in its principles and tried to encounter every one of them very positively with more reforms and more agreements and more pacts. Results are evident. In November, Sensex touched 86,000. It is a benchmark. It is a market sentiment. It is an economic indicator. How it is possible for it to be all this? It's because its construction methodology is very resilient. The incoming and outgoing stocks have a clear methodology associated with it. 93 stocks have been associated with this 30 stock index. 60 have come and gone. Some have stayed. 4 companies have stayed for 40 years, 4 more for around 30 plus years. When I think of Sensex, I consider it as more like a family, a joint family, where great-granddad and granddad will also be there. Great-grandchildren and उनके बच्चे भी होंगे. सेंसेक्स भी वैसे ही एक परिवार है, जिसमें बहुत बुजुर्ग कंपनी भी है और नए किस्म का आज का न्यू एज कंपनीज भी है. That is probably one of the great reasons for its resilience and remaining young at 40 and continuing to march forward. And today we are honored to celebrate this in the august presence of our regulator, our chairman of SEBI, Pandey Sahab. This privilege, in my opinion, is unique. I am sure we will be hearing from him his views and way forward, and we will be guided by that. Sensex has stood the test of time, and I am sure it will march ahead along with the country's dream of Viksit Bharat, and we are all waiting for the great day tomorrow, as it is a great day today as well. I would like to thank every one of you for coming here and warmly welcome you for this event, and looking forward to the great address by our chief guest, Pandey Sahab. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable insight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll proceed, and it's my absolute honor to call our next guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's the leader in India's financial and regulatory ecosystem who brings in a deep understanding of financial markets. Please put your hands together while I call upon SEBI Chairman Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey ji to deliver the keynote address.
Good evening to all distinguished guests, Mr. Ramamurthy, board members of BSE, SEBI colleagues, Mr. Singh and Mr. Varshney, SBI chairman, market veterans, representatives of institutions, ladies and gentlemen. May I begin by wishing you all a very, very happy new year. It's a pleasure to join you on this occasion to celebrate 40 years of the Sensex, a milestone that goes well beyond the adversary of an index. This moment invites us to reflect not merely on market movements or headline numbers, but on the institutional journey of India's securities market and its role in supporting economic growth, enterprise, and household participation. Indian securities market is deeply intertwined with the history of Bombay Stock Exchange, one of the oldest stock exchanges in Asia. Very few institutions anywhere in the world have witnessed and endured global crises such as the World Wars, the Great Depression of 1929, oil shock, dot-com bubble burst, the global financial crisis, and more recent COVID-19 pandemic, Ukraine crisis, and ongoing geopolitical turmoil. The BSE is one such institution. Its longevity itself is a testament to resilience, adaptability, and trust. During its rich institutional history, the launch of the Sensex in 1986 marked a defining moment in the evolution of India's capital markets. When the Sensex was introduced, India's economy and markets were very different from what we see today. Trading was manual, market participation was limited, and the economy was relatively inward-looking. Yet the idea behind the Sensex was forward-looking, to create a transparent, representative, and a credible benchmark that reflected the performance of leading companies in the economy. Over the last 4 decades, the Sensex has stood the test of time as a robust market indicator, mirroring India's economic transformation and the growing maturity of our capital markets. As India liberalized and integrated with global markets, the index evolved alongside the economy. Its changing composition reflected rise of private enterprise, shifts from traditional industries to services, finance and technology, and deeper linkages between domestic markets and global capital. It's indeed remarkable to note that a few companies that were part of Sensex at its inception continue to be constituents even today. Over 4 decades marked by liberalization, technological disruption, regulatory evolution, and global shocks, these enterprises have adapted without losing sight of their core principles. Their continued presence is not a coincidence. It reflects sustained attention to governance, competitiveness, and long-term value creation. In many ways, this continuity reminds us that while markets respond to cycles, enduring value is built across generations. The journey of Sensex is inseparable from evolution of India's broader market infrastructure. Over the last 4 decades, exchanges have transformed from traditional trading floors into technology-driven, demutualized, and professionally governed market institutions. This transformation has been complemented by development of a strong supporting ecosystem, clearing corporations managing counterparty risk, depositories ensuring safety and efficiency of holdings, and intermediaries operating within clearly defined regulatory responsibilities. Together, these institutions have ensured that growth in volumes and participation have been accompanied by strong risk management, operational resilience, and orderly markets. There was a time when market closures, settlement delays, and operational disruptions were seen an avoidable part of investing. Each such episode, however, became a catalyst for reform. The shift to screen-based trading, the move towards shorter settlement cycles, and continuous improvements in corporate governance standards fundamentally transformed how Indian markets function. Many of the strengths we take for granted today were shaped not overnight, but through lessons learned patiently and institutionally. No market can sustain growth without trust, and trust in turn rests on appropriate regulation, transparency, and effective enforcement. Over time, India's securities market regulation has matured from fragmented oversight to a comprehensive and evolving regulatory framework. The focus has consistently been on market integrity, investor protection, and systemic stability. As participation widens and the investor base becomes more diverse, our focus has also been on strengthening the regulatory architecture that upholds the integrity of the market. Market infrastructure institutions such as exchanges, clearing corporations, and depositories are the foundational pillars of the securities ecosystem. Their governance must therefore be unimpeachable. To this end, we have mandated external independent performance evaluations of MIIs and their statutory committees once every 3 years, in addition to internal evaluations. We have issued guidelines to strengthen broad governance, including norms relating to appointment of key directors and clearer reporting lines for key management personnel to executive directors. The Chief Technology Officer and Chief Information Security Officer will report to the ED of Vertical 1, which is the critical operations, who will report to the governing board of the MII on a quarterly basis. And I believe BSE has issued the advertisements of EDs today, as per the new guidelines. These measures are aimed at ensuring that as markets scale, institutional governance remains robust and credible. As we look ahead, the next phase of market development will be defined not just by scale, but by quality and sophistication. Our priorities include continued strengthening of corporate governance standards, promoting sustainable finance and long-term value creation, encouraging innovation while keeping investor protection at the center, and responsible use of technology and data in market operations and supervision. As markets evolve, emerging technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, along with deeper global linkages, bring new efficiencies but also fresh complexities. The next frontier, therefore, lies in anticipating risks before they surface. At SEBI, we are continuously upgrading our technological capabilities to enhance market integrity, supervision, and investor protection. We have internally developed several technology-driven tools to support this objective. Let me briefly highlight a few of them. These are the use of AI. SEBI Sudarshan, for surveillance of unauthorized digital activity. This AI-powered market surveillance system detects fraudsters who pose as registered IANRA to mislead the public on social media platforms. SEBI Radar, regulatory AI-driven advertisement reviewer. This tool monitors and analyzes the AMC advertisements for any potential violation of code of conduct of advertisement issues by the SEBI. Sentiment analysis of corporate announcement is a tool that classifies disclosures by listed entities as material or non-material and assists in the generation of timely surveillance alerts. AI-driven inspection for cyber health checkup. AI-driven inspection tool is currently under development to strengthen risk-based supervision of regulated entities. This tool will analyze cyber audit reports, identify control gaps, and classify entities based on their risk exposure, thereby enhancing supervisory effectiveness. Alongside supervisory tools, it's equally important to strengthen technological architecture of our securities market. Let me discuss a few of our initiatives. SEBI checked and validated UPI handles. As you're aware, we have introduced validated UPI handles to prevent cyber frauds and enabled instant verification of genuine intermediary bank accounts or UPI ID via the SEBI check facility. Cyber security and cyber resilience framework has been put in place to enhance cyber preparedness across regulated entities and ensure resilience against evolving cyber threats. Market SOC, to provide cybersecurity solutions to smaller REs who lack knowledge and expertise in cybersecurity, we have developed Market SOC with active participation from BSE. This will bridge the technological gap for small regulated entities and provide them robust SOC services. Technology roadmap for MIIs. SEBI is in the process of constituting a working group to develop a technology roadmap for market infrastructure institutions. This roadmap will provide MIIs a structured 5-year and 10-year strategic technology vision for the securities market ecosystem. Amid rapidly evolving market ecosystem, exchanges, other MIIs, and market institutions must continue to invest in technology, risk management, and cyber resilience, ensuring that innovation strengthens, not weakens, market integrity. So at closing, let me say, as we celebrate 40 years of the Sensex, we are reminded that enduring markets are not built on momentary highs or cycles of optimism. They are built on institutions that inspire trust, regulation that evolves with markets, and systems that continuously adapt and upgrade. The Sensex today stands not merely as an index, but as a testament to India's capital market journey, one shaped by continuity, reform, institutional strength, and a forward-looking embrace of technology. I congratulate all stakeholders who have contributed to this journey, and I wish the Indian securities market continued strength, credibility, and resilience in the decades ahead. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable guidance and perspective. And I would also like to mention, sir, that it's truly, truly an honor to have you here and pleased to have an opportunity to felicitate you. I would request our BSE MD and CEO, Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji, to please present a shawl, memento, and book to our Honorable SEBI Chairman, Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey ji, as a token of appreciation. Can we please have a round of applause, everyone? Once again, thank you so much for joining us here today. Can we please have a little louder round of applause, everyone? Thank you. This is, I would say, the picture-perfect moment. Well, I just love the lovely smiles here. Thank you so much, sir. I'd request you to please take your seats. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we preempt to our next session, you know, this is the moment where we actually pause and revisit, unveil the entire journey of Sensex of 40 years. As we celebrate this milestone, it is fitting well to unveil the white paper that not only traces the 40 years of Sensex journey, but also reflects on its contribution to economic progress and growth. May I please request our SEBI chairman, Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey ji, to unveil the white paper along with Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a round of applause for this wonderful moment? We are here to celebrate the 40 years of Sensex, and here we are witnessing a very, very special moment where we relive and witness the entire journey of 40 years. Yes, can we please have the round of applause? Keep it going. All right, thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to appreciate few people who have been associated with us from quite few years. You know, मैं usually believe करती हूँ कि जब हम जिंदगी में आगे बढ़ते हैं, तो हम अकेले successful कभी नहीं होते. We always have our collaborators, our associations, our family, our friends. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to appreciate and felicitate all those support that we had all these years. Likewise, behind every enduring index, ladies and gentlemen, are institutions that exemplify steadfast leadership and market legacy. Today, as we commemorate 4 decades of Sensex, we are so proud to felicitate companies whose sustained presence reflects trust, performance, and commitment to India's growth. We are going to felicitate today, ladies and gentlemen, the companies who has been associated with us for more than 30 years. They are very, very special people. So are we ready for that? Are we all ready for that? Fantastic. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, I would request our SEBI chairman, Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey ji, and our MD CEO BSE, Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji, to please do the felicitation. And our first felicitation, ladies and gentlemen, is someone who has been a symbol of consistency, resilience, and enduring trust in India's capital market. We are so pleased to recognize this remarkable journey. I would request the representative from Hindustan Unilever to please join me on stage and receive the memento. Can we please have a louder and a louder round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? It's their support, their relentless support that we had all these years. They truly, truly deserve all the appreciation and applause. Thank you so much and congratulations. Well, our next felicitation, ladies and gentlemen, is ITC. ITC's long-standing presence in the Sensex reflects its diversified strength and sustained contribution to India's growth. We are so honored to acknowledge this enduring association, ladies and gentlemen. Please have a big round of applause while I call upon the representative of ITC to please join me on dais for the memento. This is the perfect moment of appreciation. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And congratulations. And ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next felicitation. 40 years, Larsen & Toubro has exemplified engineering excellence and nation building through its continued presence in the Sensex. We take pride in recognizing this legacy. Can we please have a louder round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as I call upon the representative from Larsen & Toubro to please join me on stage for the memento. Well, hearty congratulations and a heartfelt thank you for all your support all these years. Thank you so much. Congratulations to both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to call upon our next guest on stage. We're here, 4-decade journey in the Sensex stands as a testament to vision, scale, and transformational growth in India's corporate landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a big round of applause while I call upon the representative from Reliance Industries to come on stage and receive the memento. Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for all your support all these years. Thank you so much. Well, our next felicitation, ladies and gentlemen, is Tata Steel. Its enduring presence in the Sensex reflects its commitment to excellence, sustainability, and long-term value creation. We are pleased to recognize this association. Thank you so much. Can we please have a little round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for all your support. And congratulations, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, our next felicitation is Tata Motors, that has been an integral part of Sensex, representing innovation, mobility, and industrial strength. We are delighted to acknowledge this journey. I would request a representative to please join me on stage from Tata Motors to receive the memento. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and hearty congratulations to you. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, our next felicitation is Mahindra & Mahindra. Its long-standing presence in the Sensex reflects its spirit, excellence, innovation, and contribution to India's growth story. Can we please have a round of applause while I call upon the representative to join me on stage to receive the memento and felicitation. Thank you, sir, and congratulations to you. And the last felicitation, ladies and gentlemen, is SB State Bank of India, largest bank and banker to every Indian, as we say. I would request our chairman, Mr. Sethi, to please come on stage to receive the memento. State Bank of India has been a cornerstone of trust and stability in India's financial system and valued constituent of Sensex. We are truly, truly honored to recognize this association. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, I would request you all to please take your seats. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, these were the organizations that had been an integral part of Sensex's journey of 40 years, contributing to its strength, credibility over the years. Can we please have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all the companies who came on stage for the felicitation. And this legacy is internal to Sensex's story. Okay, now it's time to move on to our next segment, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's time, I would say, to hear some ringing bells of celebration. At BSE, the ringing of the bell is a time-honored tradition that we have followed. And today, as we celebrate the 40 years of Sensex, we're going to celebrate it by ringing the bell. As we commemorate, ladies and gentlemen, these enduring Sensex journeys, we mark the moment with this ceremonial bell ringing. To commemorate this journey of 40 years for the celebration, I would request SEBI Chairman Mr. Tuhin Kanta Pandey and our MD CEO BSc Mr. Sundar Raman Ramamurthy ji, and along with them, I would also request the 8 companies that we have felicitated right away. I would request them to please come on stage and join me for the bell ringing ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause? I would request everyone, all the companies we have felicitated, to please join me on stage. I would also request our director, Mr. Bansal ji, to please join us on stage. Well, I would request you all to please have a big round of applause until we have our all wonderful, wonderful associations, our companies coming on stage. Well, we are ready to ring in 4 decades of trust, transparency, and progress. Okay, so before we actually do the bell ringing ceremony, okay, ladies and gentlemen, usually when we do the bell ringing ceremony, we have the countdown, but because we don't have the countdown here, we'll do a manual countdown. Are you all ready? Can we have a countdown together? Yes? All right, let's begin. 10, 8, 7, 6, come on everyone. 4, 3, 2, and 1. What a truly special moment we are witnessing here today. It's truly, truly the moment of pride and celebration, and I feel honored to witness here today. Well, that was the bell, the ringing bell of the celebration. We all are here to celebrate. We have come here across the country. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can we please have a big round of applause? This is an historic moment for all of us. Let's capture this beautiful, beautiful memory. Until we get it right. But thank you so much. Well, this is truly, truly an exciting moment we all have gathered here for. The smiles that I see here, truly a token that the journey of Sensex of 40 years has been incredible. And it wouldn't have been possible without all your presence and your support. Well, a photographer needs just the perfect picture for us. Well, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a round of applause for our wonderful dignitaries here? Thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I would request you all to please take your seats and settle down. Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on and call upon our next guest for the vote of thanks. Please put your hands together while I call upon Mr. Ashutosh Singh, MD and CEO of BSE Index Services.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to the close of this truly historic evening, it's both a pleasure and a privilege for me to propose the vote of thanks. First and foremost, on behalf of BSE Group, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our chief guest, SEBI Chairman, Shri Tuhin Kanta Pandey ji, for graciously joining us today and elevating the stature of the evening. Sir, your leadership of India's capital markets and your collaborative and democratic approach of taking everyone along continue to strengthen trust, transparency, and resilience in our capital market ecosystem. We are truly honored by your participation, sir. Next, I would like to thank Shri Sundaraman Ramamurthy ji, MD and CEO of BSE, for his inspiring welcome address and for very eloquently walking us through the 40-year journey of Sensex. In pursuit of your goal to deepen and widen the capital market ecosystem and also offer a robust alternative exchange, you have not just made the 150-year-old elephant dance, but in doing so, you have used Sensex as one of the strongest plank for its revival and turnaround. This, in the process, has made Sensex the fastest growing index contract in the world 2 years in a row. A very special word of appreciation for the 8 distinguished companies that we've had the honor of felicitating today, and all the others that have been part of the Sensex family at some stage or the other. Your endurance, governance standards, and ability to create long-term value exemplify the very spirit of Indian enterprise. You are not just constituents of an index, you are custodians of its continued legacy. So thank you so much. I also extend our sincere thanks to State Bank of India Chairman, Shri C.S. Setty ji, BSE Board Member, Shri Rajiv Bansal ji, whole-time members of SEBI, Shri Amarjeet Singh ji and Shri Kamlesh Varshne ji, for making the time and gracing the occasion. We are thankful for your presence here today, sir. To the leaders of India's financial market ecosystem present here this evening, EDs and senior officials of SEBI, CEOs and senior leadership teams of mutual funds and life insurance companies, key leaders from MIIs, directors of ICCL, IEPs associated with BSE Group, and the heads of key industry bodies. Your presence here shows collaborative spirit, mutual respect, and deep trust the ecosystem places in India's capital markets and in the benchmark that has guided generations of investors. A sincere thank you for accepting our invite and gracing us with your presence. Thank you. Thank you also to our friends from the media, whose consistent and responsible engagement has helped take the story of the Sensex and Indian capital markets to millions of investors across the country. Thank you, media friends. A big shout out to our colleagues from BSE Group, our vendors, and the broad organizing team for their meticulous planning and flawless execution. It's never easy managing the logistics and arrangements of an event of this scale when you have a room full of eminent personalities. So thank you guys, thank you so much. Last but surely not the least, to the only group that's not present in the room today, the creators of India's very first stock market index, who in its construction have ensured that we have a benchmark of India's economic progress that is as relevant today as it was 40 years ago. A benchmark whose movement simply reflects India's belief in itself every single day, every single tick. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable words. And ladies and gentlemen, here we conclude this beautiful evening. And I would like to conclude by just saying a heartfelt thank you to everyone for joining us here for this wonderful celebration. Can we please have a round of applause for ourselves? Thank you so much. You have been a wonderful support. And we have high tea and network session open for you. I would request you all to please join it. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.